That mountain right there used to be the biggest mountain here in Bali, and quite possibly be one of the biggest in Indonesia. But what happened? Today I'm going hiking and camping in Mount Batur. And on the way, I'm gonna tell you a story. The story of Mount Batur.
Mount Batur wasn't always what you're seeing now. It's the aftermath of one of the biggest eruptions in Earth's recent history. A blast so massive, it collapsed a volcano into itself, creating the caldera we see today. Batur is what rose from that scar. A volcano within a volcano. A layered monument to time, destruction, and rebirth.
Here, every rock, every ridge, every grain of soil, all written in the page or the story that began with fire. This whole landscape, it's a testimony, a witness that could share a story that if you would just listen closely, you're not only going to learn about geography and geology about how Mount Batur was, how it came to be, or how it was formed, but something much more, something much deeper. Just like how I did, if you just would listen closely. Mount Batur could also speak about life. Sounds crazy, but maybe I am.
Tens of thousands of years ago, a massive stratovolcano dominated this region. The height was estimated to be around 3,000 meters above sea level, but other cultural opinions estimates it to be much higher, rivaling the heights of Mount Rinjani and Mount Kerinci. But around 29,000 years ago, a cataclysmic eruption tore through the land. And it wasn't just explosive, it was apocalyptic. The volcano spat out a pyroclastic flow, clouds of hot ash as far south as the outskirts of today's Denpasar. An eruption which results in the collapse of the entire upper cone, forming the first caldera. But it's not done yet. Around 9,000 years later, another massive eruption happened again. This eruption further changes the landscape of Batur, collapsing again, forming the second caldera.
Maybe if you guys are hiking Mount Batur, or you guys are just visiting Kintamani in general, you definitely can't miss the whole landscape all around you here. Is just that beautiful. You could see Mount Abang, you could see Mount Agung just behind it, and all this massive caldera wall all around you. And maybe if you guys are just like me, I've also only just learned that we are inside two calderas, not one. The first one that was formed is the higher one, and if you could look closely, that slight elevation height just above the foreground and just below the Kintamani terrace, yeah, that's the second caldera, and we're inside it. That really gives you the massive scale of the eruption that happened here, and perhaps could give you a slight perspective, and would probably play with your imaginations as well of how big ancient Batur might be. It's just crazy.
When the volcano collapsed, it left behind a massive depression, a basin where rainwater, spring water, and groundwater began to collect over thousands of years. A blue mirror nestled within the curve of the caldera wall. The lake formed naturally within this caldera, settling like a scar, slowly healing. Today, it's the largest crater lake in Bali, stretching over 16 square kilometers, a source of life for most that lives here. Over time, pressure began to build again beneath the collapsed mountain. New magma, new eruptions, new life beneath the surface. And eventually, a new cone began to rise within the heart of the old caldera. That's Mount Batur, the child of the ancient volcano. It lives, it breathes, it erupts.
In fact, Mount Batur has erupted more than 25 times since the 1800s. Its most recent one was in 2000. Its most destructive, 1917 and 1926, when the eruption destroyed villages and temples around the volcano. And, it's kind of funny talking about this where I'm literally camping on top of one of the craters. But hey, it's gonna be fine.
Jugador de roca fonda ha enviat l'esfèrica directament a fora. Jota de nou la Lamine Yamal, la trepitjadeta a la bicicleta.
Thousands of people live inside the caldera today. They farm, worship, and raise families in one of the most dangerous but fertile places on earth. It's a gamble, but it's also a relationship, a lifeline. From destruction came life. Lava once scorched everything here, but now that same earth grows some of Bali's best coffee, vegetables, and fruit. The volcanic soil is rich with minerals. Every harvest is fed by centuries of fire. And there's something beautiful in that idea. That even devastation can give birth to nourishment. Batur doesn't just burn, it gives back.
Mount Batur taught me that healing isn't clean. It's messy, explosive, chaotic. But what matters is what comes after. New life, new meaning, new beginning. You may feel like your world is erupting, but I promise you, that fire will feed your future. Because sometimes it takes everything falling apart for something beautiful to grow in its place. Take a look at this.